Okay, so now we're going to put the batting square on the back of the fabric. So you want to match this up on the back side of where your marks are, because we're going to sew up from the front. So I'm going to take this and turn it over, then I'm going to center my batting on the back. And notice how my square isn't perfect. That's okay. Okay, so I'm going to lay it like that and then flip it over, and I'm going to just put some squares in the corners to kind of hold it where I need it to stay. Also, I have a sticky spray that we can use too. In class, we may be using sticky spray. But if you're doing this from home, then that's how you do it. Okay, and then here is the other one. Do the same thing, match up the batting. And we're using 2 layers of batting because we want to get the lines nice and even. This one I'm just going to pin them right in the corners right here. Okay, then we're going to go to the machine and stitch those lines. And that's our straight line. Okay, so I'm going to review threading the machine. Put your thread on the spool pin. The spool pin comes up like this. Put your thread on the spool pin. Pull your thread under the thread catch and through the tension. Make sure your presser foot is up. Pull your thread down under the metal part. And then through the take-up lever right here. And then it's going to go behind this thread catch and behind that thread catch. And then thread the needle. Thread the thread through your needle. Okay, and then pull the thread under the foot like that. Remind you how to flip it on. There is a little switch right here. You're just going to flip that up. When you flip that up, the screen comes on and all the little symbols will show up and the light on the machine comes on. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to sew the straight lines. Okay, so in order to sew the straight lines, you're going to use this stitch, straight stitch. We're going to line this line up with that straight line on your presser foot. And the batting is underneath, so this is going to attach the batting to your fabric. And we're going to go in far enough so that we have a 5/8 inch. We're going to go 5/8 inch in from the edge. So the way that we're going to know how far to go is there's a horizontal line right up here by the 5/8 inch mark. So I'm just going to follow this line, stitching it straight. Okay, and I'm going to change my machine settings. So the machine stitch that it comes up on, the length is 2.5. When I turn the machine on, I want to change my length to a 4 because it makes a prettier stitch. Actually, we'll almost go 4. We'll go a little bit less than 4 because it makes it prettier when it's top stitched. Okay, now I'm going to just stitch, do a little back stitch so it holds your stitches down, and then all you're doing is making sure that this line follows that line on your presser foot. Ugh. And then you're going to stop when you, so when I get to the end, I'm going to be done when this edge is lined up with this horizontal line right here. And I went a little past it, so that's okay. I'm just going to do a little back stitch and then be done. Okay, so the stitch is going to look like this. Okay, then I'm going to actually do the outside stitches first, and then I'll go back and do the center stitches. So I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to stitch this line. You just make sure this line is lined up. Don't forget to do your back stitch at the beginning and the end of each stitch. The back stitch holds the layers together so the stitches don't come out. Okay, and when this edge lines up on the bottom, we're going to do a little back stitch. Okay, and then cut. So when you're finished, it's going to look like this. On the back, it's going to look like this. So you've made a quilted fabric that holds the batting in place, so the batting won't shift on you. And you could also do this with that layer against it, but we want it a little thicker. So that's why we're doing batting against both of them.